Hey, by the time of making this video, Wuthering Wave's second anniversary is about to drop in just a few weeks, and I would like to discuss with you guys what to expect from Wuthering Wave's second anniversary. Because as we all know, the first anniversary, they fumbled it really hard, and it didn't go as the players intended it to be, because a lot of expectations around that time was focused on the leaks side of things, and we were fully expecting to get some limited characters, get at least a standard character through the first anniversary. And instead, the Wuthering Waves anniversary focused mainly on the Wuthering Waves dev celebrating on their game releases, and there was nothing to celebrate with us. As for the players, we merely get the same patch as we always do. We got normal events, we got the silly goofy cubic event, we got some combat event. There was barely any freebies, and the free stuff that we are looking forward to was in the Gilded Night Market, where you have to pull for Zani to get some weapon skins and some extra pulls. And because how disappointed the players were with the anniversary, Kuro Games have to compensate. They have to give an apology rewards for the players, which I don't believe was a lot as well. It was like around tempo on the character banner and another tempo on the weapon banner. I don't remember if they actually gave like a free standard. They probably did as well. So it's kind of like around 30 pulls and something like that for the freebies. And I made one whole video discussing about what they gave and how long they drag out the rewards in the anniversary. They bring out the Carlotta skin, which you have to pay. There was no freebies. They have a discount for the Changli and Carlotta skin. I hope to God they don't do this anymore. They even time-gated the big rewards for a whole month. Not even in Zani's banner. It wasn't a banner after Zani. You have to wait for one whole month to get another 10 pull. I sure hope that never happens again. And there was a small Zani teaser, and here's the thing, like Zani wasn't a character that was teased the same way as Hiyuki, Denia, Augusta, and and I will bring that up later as well. So what I'm trying to say is that the devs aren't really trying to sell Zani as one of those characters. We have to get the gameplay from a different sources, like Augusta and I think you have to get the gameplays from IGN or something. Cartethyia and Aemeath, you will have to see the gameplays from Geoff Kylie. And now we got Hiyuki and Denia. They used their gameplay as a teaser for the Xbox releases. Meanwhile, Zani here, she wasn't given the same treatment. So again, I will go into the Hiyuki and Denia being the equivalent to Augusta and later. Moving forward, we will most likely have like the anniversary resonator. I'll talk about it again. I don't like how we have like 10 banners in one patch. I think that's somewhat ridiculous. And of course, I did complain it. A lot of people feel the same way about this whole 10 banner. And we had a bunch of other events that nobody really truly care about it. Some Dust of Illusive Realm update, which is absolutely garbage. A lot of combat events here and there, some QOL, and then we have a Cyberpunk teaser, which will be a missed opportunity if they don't do this again. Now, I want to go this slowly with you guys and probably talk about this, what to expect from Wuthering Wave's second anniversary, Hiyuki and Denia equivalent to Augusta and situation. Because they both were teased in the same manner, they were given the somewhat the same treatment. Both of their gameplay was introduced from a different sources. And I do believe they will most likely show Hiyuki and Denia's gameplay this time around a lot more properly. And again, because it's the same treatment as Augusta and we will also gain their character quest in the MSQ. And I think Hiyuki will be like the main story plot, and Denia is gonna be somewhat similar to where was kind of forgotten, and Denia is given the same vibe in a way. I'm not saying that Denia will have exactly the same story, but it does seem like we will have like somewhat of a hangout story quest. And Hiyuki, because Augusta, we weren't exactly hanging out with Augusta, we were fighting alongside her in the story quest. I think Hiyuki will be part of that MSQ where she will be fighting alongside us. That will be the MSQ for the 3.4, I believe. And that is just something I understood from the story. And here I mentioned the anniversary Convene. I do think they're gonna do this again. But with how things are looking forward in Wuthering Waves, it does seem like 1.0 unit are selling less and less coming into the future. Characters like Jian, Jinlin, they actually need proper buff. Like when I mentioned in the Matrix endgame mode, they do have buff, and I think they should consider to give this character buff permanently. Jian with his increase in heavy attack or overall attributes damage bonus. Jinlin also needs a proper buff, like she actually needs to do damage because she does 0 damage at this point. I don't know much about Jeje because I didn't pull for her, but she is mainly used for only Carlotta support. Changli Yao is slowly getting power crap as time goes by because Augusta is destroying everything. Meanwhile, Changli Yao will have a lot more challenging time clearing Tower of Adversity or Whimpering Ways. I'll be honest, I don't think a lot of people pull for Phoebe because they think they were gonna use Zani as the main Spectral Frazzle DPS. So a lot of people do miss out on Phoebe. I suppose it's fine to put Phoebe in the anniversary resonator convene. And then furthermore, we have the phase 2 with Jin C, Chang-Li, Carlotta. Here's the thing, like I don't even think the 1.0 unit should be in the anniversary convene anymore. I don't know who would actually pull for all of these characters. Even Rocha, she is already power crept in her own premium team because her premium team is with Phrolova, Cantarella, and Rocha herself. But now, the best team for that is Phrolova, Cantarella, and Chuyuan. So it feels like Rocha herself is kind of useless at this point because she doesn't even do echo skill damage bonus. I do believe if they really want to sell Rocha, you gotta buff this character. You just need to give her a personal buff so that she will actually have a team to be played around still. And that is one of the characters that I don't think should appear in the anniversary convene. Carlotta is fine unit, but I also don't think she will be a good pull these days, especially when Hiyuki is right around the corner. And then we have Brand. Brand is actually a good unit. I am disappointed in myself for not being able to pull for Brand, but that is just a me problem. I don't have enough currencies in this game, it seems. Now moving forward to the next part, which 5-star deserve to be given for free. Almost all the characters in 1.0, the players should be given a choice to actually choose these characters. I'll be completely honest, who is gonna pull for Jian in 2026 when we have characters like Cartethyia already power crap Jian, and then we have Sigrika with her echo skill damage bonus clearing the tower, clearing the Matrix game mode a lot more easier than Jian. Jian without the Matrix game mode buff, he is no longer a unit that anybody will actually be willing to pull for unless you just love the character, you just enjoy his personality on its own. You're not playing for the meta. Everything else outside of that is not a good unit. Same goes for Yinlin, maybe even Jeje. I think giving Jeje for free is a good way for you to sell Carlotta as well because people don't pull for Jeje. They want to pull for Carlotta. They want to play Carlotta's meta team, but Jeje is not a character they want to go for. But if you give Jeje for free, it will encourage people to pull for Carlotta later on because they have her best support. And let me ask you, do you think Jin C is a good investment to make, especially when you have characters like Phoebe, Zani, and Luke as a Spectral DPS unit? I'll be honest, I don't think so. I think Jin C is already power crap as well. She is a good unit. At some point in time, players will have to come to terms that Jin C is a low tier unit, similar to DPS like Jian, Shang Liao, and possibly even Carlotta with Hiyuki coming up. I believe you can play her with Bu Ling, but it's still going to be difficult to reach her max potential. Therefore, GNC is still missing her best-in-slot dedicated support. And now let's talk about the standard characters. If you don't want to give a selector for the 1.0 units, consider giving the standard characters a selector with their signature weapons, or selector for the standard weapons as well. Because with how Wuthering Waves have come so far, everything has become so difficult. We have Whimpering Waves, we have Matrix game mode. All this game mode is a lot harder than Tower of Adversity to beat. And it is almost impossible to beat with just standard characters. You actually need premium unit to beat these contents. So standard characters can sometimes just be useless unless you have reached a certain potential or certain sequences where they are kind of slightly just as strong as a limited character. But with the current state of Wuthering Waves, having all the standard characters and their weapons included is just as worthless as having a team without their dedicated support. And I'm not saying all the standard characters are bad. They are of course good as well. Like Jansin is still somewhat of a good support. She can buff the Resonance Liberation, and I believe that you can play her around with Aemeath as well if you do it properly. And then there's Verena. Of course, she's still gonna be good because there's still a lot of characters that scales off attack percent, and Verena can buff the attack percent for these characters. So Verena will stay just as long as characters like Shorekeeper and Mornye. And this character will obviously be the main choice for those of you that want to choose any characters in the standard banner. So again, I do encourage Kuro Games to just give these standard characters for free. You're not losing anything, especially when you have characters like Mornye, you have Shorekeeper, and I have no doubt you're gonna make more supports coming into the future. It is so obvious as well because with how they are going with this game right now. For example, we have Shorekeeper. I think she was gonna power crap Verena, but really she doesn't. And then we have like this Tomb Break mechanic, and then they just immediately release Mornye. They're probably gonna release more mechanics, and that mechanic character will have their own support as well. Who knows, maybe someday we'll come around with a echo skill damage proper support like Verena and Shorekeeper. Who knows? Moving forward, another spending event. Now, why would I say they were gonna do this? Because especially when they just did in Aemeath's patch. Here's the thing, Gilded Night Market was in the anniversary as well. And this was a spending event. It's semi spending event kind of. You do the pools and then you get extra pools. You can also buy some tuners with the pools, something like that. It wasn't as obvious spending event as Aemeath. But here's why I think they're gonna do another spending event. This is Aemeath spending event. When I first saw this, I was so surprised with how organized they tried to make it seem. Blue Knight subscription, you gain 30 points, you gain some extra bonus to move to the next step. 1 or 2 pools, I don't know. And then you get the weekly subscription. You buy one of these sets. I believe it's a motorbike set, and then you move forward and on until you get this one free character bonus. It's very rewarding for those of you that pays for it, right? And because how well organized this whole thing is, they were able to accumulate around, this is the March revenue by the way, like 11, they dropped from 46 million. This is the spending event, 46 million. They dropped to $11 million immediately as the spending event was gone. I mean, look, I tell people not to spend on these games, especially not this much, alright? Because if you don't spend, you basically sending a message to Kuro Games that, hey, this is not gonna work on us. Just because you make a spending event doesn't mean we're gonna use all our savings on the character. But I guess I was completely wrong and you guys did what you have to do, right? You basically got baited and you go along with the predatory system that they have made for you. And afterwards, once the event is over, the revenue drops. So of course, when they are given the chance to do another spending event, they will most likely, no doubt, make another spending event. I would be very surprised if they make another Aemeath spending event instead of the Gilded Night Market, where you should just be spending your pools. Meanwhile, characters like Aemeath, she is a Sentinel, she is a Trenodian level character. She is a monster, right? She can be a lot of content in the game. She will no doubt be a must pull. Hiyuki and Denia, they are good, but they are not in that level, I would assume. So, giving them the treatment of Aemeath spending event would be a huge mistake. But giving Hiyuki and Denia the Gilded Night Market treatment, I think that's very smart on their part. And that settles my expectations from the spending event. Moving forward, I do think they are gonna do the Returnee / new players rewards, because why wouldn't they? This is their moment to bring new players. This is their moment to bring back the old players, to just have them return. And we're also gonna get the silly event where I call them silly because we have this QB derby. We have a bunch of this cube event here. I don't like that it's permanent, by the way. I think it was a mistake to make it permanent. I do think it would be nicer if this game mode were to be shortened and just be played during the anniversary, because that is when people enjoy it the most. And having this cube event last as long as the game will last, it kind of defeats the purpose of it being an anniversary event. It's good that you can still get the rewards, but I think once the anniversary is over, you can still buy the rewards from the coral shop, maybe. Not the pooling currencies of the coral shop, not the one that you can buy the Resonance Chain coral shop. I just mean that the coral shop where you don't even use the coral that much. So let players buy this stuff that was in the event through that coral shop. I don't think it's a bad idea. They're not gonna lose anything. I just think it's a good way to reward players even if they don't have the time to come by to the anniversary, but maybe they will come later. Alright, this is a bit of a stretch, but as we go forward to the past, they did try, okay? Dreaming Deep was the worst way for them to rework the depths of Illusive. It was a mistake, and having our character moving in this piece of maze, it was boring, it was stretched out to oblivion, it was dragged on for too long. I was bored playing the depths of Illusive Realm. Something that I thought that could never happen. Like I got bored playing a roguelike game. This is just a huge mistake on their part, but they did try to rework Illusive Realm, okay? They did try. So I'm hoping they will give more time, because the OG depths of Illusive Realm was that good. Allowing players have the potential to play like S6 Jian if they have S5. Getting their sequences as time goes on when you play the Illusive Realm. That was so much fun. And having this huge buff, the OG depths of Illusive Realm allows Jian to group a large amount of enemy in his circle doing the Qinglong attack. It was so much fun. It's a missed opportunity to not bring that again. Because believe it or not, in the Dreaming Deep, they did have the same buff as the OG depths of Illusive Realm. I mean, look at here, this is that same buff. You probably get Chisha to do some stuff that she can't do in the overworld, but she can do in the depths of Illusive Realm, and they put it in the Dreaming Deep. They did the exact same thing, but the whole gameplay in the Dreaming Deep, it was bad. Okay, the boss was fun, but playing throughout this maze was very boring and dragged on too much. And I think we all know how this 3.3 live stream will end. Again, they will bring back the Wuthering Waves as Cyberpunk collab because it is right around the corner. It is just right there. You just have to give like a teaser, a proper trailer for these people. You have no idea how much they could gain from having an anniversary patch and then later on a collab patch. Nobody would want to miss this, okay? No one would want to miss this patch. Even the people that probably stopped playing for a whole year, they would want to return just to check it out. A Cyberpunk Edgerunners collab. So here's what I'm expecting. There's probably gonna be some gameplay tease. Why wouldn't it? There should be. Especially it has been a whole year since the last time they have teased this collab. It's been a year. They got their time to make, I don't know, a character model already. They got time to make the whole new area for the Cyberpunk Edgerunners, most likely as well. So why wouldn't they just show it around to exceed player expectations? It would just be a good idea to have a Cyberpunk Edgerunners collab at the end of the live stream, have their gameplay maybe. It will blow people's mind. Oh, now not to mention we have Hiyuki, and then we have Denia, and then, oh my god, Lucilla is gonna come probably around Cyberpunk collab as well. Maybe after Cyberpunk collab, there will be constant hype for Wuthering Waves, non-stop. So I just think that's how they will end the soon-to-come live stream, and it's gonna be great. Overall, I'm really excited. The only thing I'm really worried about in my list here is probably the spending event, and it's actually just the spending event. I'm actually worried how they're gonna do that. Again, like they did it before, why wouldn't they do it again, right? And Aemeath banner performed so well because of the spending event as well. Not only because of Aemeath, but because they had to make a spending event and people pay for it to gain more rewards and then do more Aemeath pool. Because if they don't participate with the event, they will feel like they will miss out on a lot of things. Yeah, that's just how it goes. That's the only thing I'm worried about. I am not worried at all for what's to come in the future for the collab, because I know they did so well with the PGR collab as Devil May Cry. After seeing that, I know Wuthering Waves, they will nail the Cyberpunk Edgerunners 100%. Alright, that's about all I want to say. That's about all I want to talk about with you guys. Comment down below what you think about the Wuthering Waves 2nd anniversary is going to be like. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. See ya.